So I was like, hey, Sean, can we do a tasting? Of course it's Sean. He's like, yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want. Like, let's do it. I was like, awesome. And like, I'm expecting him to be kind of leading the conversation from there because it's a tasting. So like, you kind of direct me what I need to do or where do I need to go. And then whatever. So he's like, I'm like, okay, awesome. He's like, so where do you want to do it? And I'm thinking, what do you mean where? What do you mean, where do I want to do it? Are you supposed to tell me that? Hey guys, and welcome back to the Attainable Podcast. If you're new here, my name is Sarah Baus. I'm your host, and I am so glad that you're here. I'm especially excited for today's episode. I'm not really sure why I decided that this was a good idea, but today we're going to be talking about wedding horror stories. So we're doing a couple episodes leading up to the wedding, and just letting you guys know, we will have episodes going all through wedding time, honeymoon time, all that kind of stuff. I'll be out of office for probably about 3 weeks. I'm very excited about it. It still hasn't hit me. If you watch my TikTok, you'll know that listen, I'm prepared, but like I'm not. Like there's some things that are like key things that I don't have. That some might find important. Like a wedding ring. I don't got that. I also have some things about my dress that are coming. Like, anyway, I'm not gonna reveal that now. But anyways, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks when this podcast goes out, which that's not really going to my brain. Like I leave the country, like we're going to Thailand for the honeymoon. Leading up to a vacation, you have a conceptual understanding, like I'm leaving out of the country, like we're preparing, and it's something that's kind of clicking. Have you ever had one of those things, maybe if you've gotten married or like a big thing where it's coming, but you also realize that your brain's not conceptualizing it? I'm positive I won't have a clue what's going on until I'm like standing like with my dad, like at the top of the aisle, be like, hold the phone. How did we get here? What? I'm so excited to get married. Like really love this man's, but also I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to be on the plane halfway to Thailand and be like, who put me here? Like what's going on? But anyways, for whatever reason, I thought it'd be very fun to read wedding horror stories, to really just heighten the anxieties. I've been a very calm bride. Some would say alarmingly calm, just because I'm just like, if I don't want to allocate brain power to it, like I'm just not. I have been delegating brain power, which has been a huge help for me. But yeah, I've been really chill. And so let's change that. Let's just really heighten the anxieties here. I have submissions that I have not seen. I just FYI, I got some help behind the scenes. Her name is Christine, so everybody say hello. She is editing the podcast, as well as she's going to be helping me with submissions for episodes like this. I want to do more episodes like this. I think they're so fun. You guys seem to really enjoy them. So we're going to be having a lot more episodes with advice and sharing stories and doing submissions and all that kind of stuff. So if you are not following the podcast Instagram, go follow the podcast Instagram. We are also kind of reviving that. And we have some really, really exciting things going up. If you have anything that you would like to see or something, suggestions or feedback or anything like that, that is where you can give your feedback or send us a DM or comment or anything like that. We'd love to hear from you guys. But anyways, let's get into the stories. I have a couple of submissions to share and read, and we're going to read them together. And I'm hoping by the end of this episode, I'm not like pissing myself, freaking out. Okay, so first one. Okay, my husband's suit was sent in the wrong size and had to be delivered to the venue from out of state, and it made it an hour before the ceremony started and still the wrong size. You're kidding. So Joseph's suit, he's wearing a tux, and he bought it, but we were like going back and forth on like who's going to buy it or rent it, and this shit's expensive. Like to rent it was like $300, and then to buy it was like $800 or something like that. And I was like, he's like, oh, I'll just rent it. And I was like, okay, well, do they have like a try before you rent kind of thing? Like, how do we know if it's your size? He's like, no, I don't know. I was like, well, when does it get to you? He's like, like 4 days before, something like that. I was like, babe, you can't we cannot be seeing your tux for the first time 4 days before the wedding. That's just really not going to be bueno, like, so I was like, I mean, we'll just have to rent it twice. And I even emailed them and like something, because they used to have, I can't remember where he's getting it from, like Tux RS, not Tux RS, but it's something, some online thing. And they're really nice, but they had a program that was like, you could try it, and they don't have that anymore. I was like, we're just going to have to rent it twice, because like, what if it's the wrong size? He's kind of like, he's slightly like shorter than like average height, and so like, what if the pants are too long? Like, it's not something that, and by the time we did that, we're like, okay, that's going to be spending $600. Why would we not spend the 800 or like whatever it is to just buy it? So that's what he's doing. So we're waiting for that to come in, and that should be coming in next week, which would be, I don't know, like 10 days before the wedding. And I'm like, that's fine. We should be able to get alterations or whatever. Hope it works out. That's scary. That's scary to know that like we're an hour out and the groom still doesn't have something to wear. That's insane. I guess everything's fine because you got married and he had it. I'm so sorry that it was the wrong size. I'm sure he looked still amazing. Okay, next one. I'm actually a wedding DJ as well. Okay, I once attended a wedding in which the groom failed to attend. I'm so sorry. It was a total disaster. The bride looked like she could have been just 18, absolutely adorably cute, and she just sat out in the hallway crying with her parents while her friends and family were moved from the ceremony hall to the reception area for dinner and drinks. No! Weirdly enough, though, the groom showed up later in the evening after the minister had already gone home. We had their formal dances, but on that day, they didn't actually get married. Huh? Hold on. I have questions. Where was he? What was he doing? He just like shows up and he's like, hey, sorry, let's get this show on the road. I would be pissed. They said they had their formal dances. I'd be like, yeah, no. I would be so angry. And I mean, when you're that young, like, poor thing, just, oh my God, I'd be livid. I would be absolutely livid. These are the type of things where I wonder if like they knew, like, did the bride, if you went to the bride like a couple days before the wedding and be like, okay, over under on the groom being late or like not showing up for basically the whole thing, like what's her percentage? Because like I'm feeling the groom I got, I'm like, I'm the one more likely to be late, to be honest, and I'm staying at the venue the night before. So like I don't, but I'm like, do you expect these things, or do these really just pop out of the blue? I would assume they pop out of the blue, but also, what the hell? Oh my God. Okay. Next one. Went to a wedding once where the caterer messed up the food so bad that it was basically inedible. They ended up making up for it, in quotes, by ordering a mass amount of chicken from KFC. The reception was literally just KFC meals. Everyone was shocked and horrified. Oh my God. Let me tell. Okay, so quick story time about our caterer. So original plan was to have a taco bar. Okay, like I saw this wedding is going to be a lot more formal than like the original idea, which is totally fine. It's not like I'm not having the wedding of my dreams. This is even more so the wedding of my dreams. I think I just imagined something like more casual. And so we were gonna have just a taco bar, and we love Taco Boy. And I promise, like, if you're thinking, oh my God, that's so tacky, just give me a second, okay? Like, I wasn't going to be some podunk backyard, going to your uncle's house taco bar. Taco Boy has really nice tacos. and after we got engaged, that's the restaurant we went to. And so I was thinking like more just like elevated Tex-Mex food was my idea. And I thought like served really well, and like fajitas, like stuff like that, like nice, I'm not, when I say taco bar, I'm not just saying like Taco Bell to go. So, but then like the more we looked at it, the taco bar was actually quite expensive. Like I also thought, great, I have a choice, it's going to be inexpensive. No, it was still very expensive. And they didn't have like some of my favorite tacos are like their Baja shrimp, or like they have a kimchi beef. You like weird, odd flavors, nice tacos. And their catering menu was literally just like beef and chicken and cheese and lettuce. Like it was a straight like your uncle's taco bar. I was like, okay. And then the more we talked about it, we are like, you know what? This is like maybe a taco bar is not very wedding. Like maybe we do something slightly nicer. So I think I posted on a Facebook group or something and was like, hey, caterers, like, where you at? And this guy or this Facebook page like answers like, hey, we're for events. I think I must have had a call with him or whatever. His name is Sean, and he was super nice. And I was like, oh, like this is great. And he was we like developed a menu, and how it goes with catering. Well, okay, hold on. So how it goes with catering is you do like a sample menu, basically. Like you explain to them what you want, and then each person like has like a bit of a different process. But with Sean, I just explained what I want. He like suggested some things, and we looked at the price, and we kind of like whittled it down, or like played with it really until like it was a menu that we liked at a price that we liked. And so, and then once that like went, then we sign and everything. So I, by the time that you get your menu solidified, like we had been talking for a couple weeks, which I thought was kind of odd. I was like, what happens if I walk away? Like you've been talking to me for weeks, and like what happens if I find somebody else? Because I was talking to other caterers, but nobody's menu was as good. So I was like, okay, this is great. And then I talked to my mom and dad, because at this point I'm like, I'm not making decisions. And I was like, what do you think? They're like, yep. And so I was like, okay, awesome. Like, let's get started. Like, can we have a contract? So he sends this sheet of paper that it's a contract, but it's not like a legal looking contract. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a contract. It's just not what I expected. Like, especially when I was signing with the photographer and stuff, like, and the makeup artist, wedding contracts are no freaking joke. This outlined everything, and but it just it didn't look like the others. So I was like, huh. Okay. So I talked to my dad. I was like, hey dad, like, do you think I should, like draft up my own contract, like whatever? He was like, no, like Sarah, this is good. Like, this is, this is fine. This is how you did whatever. It's like, all right. And then, so anyway, we pay him his deposit. Catering's expensive. Okay. And the one great thing about him, and one reason why we went with him, is he also is doing our rentals. So like the tables, the chairs, like his whole team, they're doing it all. They have glasses, they have plates, they have the napkins. Like they're essentially the wedding, like this, And so I was like, cool. And we would just kind of like text back and forth. Like he would ask me questions and I would answer the questions, and then that was it. And like a couple months ago, I was like, I started to panic. I was like, oh, I've never met this person in real life. I've only talked on the phone with him. Like, and don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. Everything was going so well. He was so kind, like so kind, and easy to talk to, and literally whatever I asked, whatever said, he was like, oh yeah, we got it, don't worry about it, we got it. And I was like, there's no way. I was like, something's wrong. I was like, mom, I think we got scammed. Like this guy, like what, we haven't met before. I didn't do a tasting. You're probably like, Sarah, what do you mean you never met? Didn't do a tasting? No. Funnily enough, all the caterers I talked to, like nobody talked about tastings. Like this wasn't, I don't know what I did or whatever, but you'd think like, you schedule like tastings with a bunch of caterers and then you kind of discuss. No, there was no tastings for anybody. And so I hadn't done a tasting with this man. For all I know, all he could do is peanut butter and jelly. So I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God. And now granted, guys, like, it's not like I signed blindly. Like I asked for photos of past work. Like I asked him a lot of questions. It's not like I just chose like some random guy, you know what I mean? That a Facebook page, I looked at reviews, whatever. Like, but the one thing about the Facebook page is like, it was more from his like personal, because he's also a personal chef, like his personal chef reviews. So I was like, oh God, like they've never done a wedding, I'm freaking out. But they have done a wedding. That was just me being dramatic. Anyway, so I was like, oh, you know what? Like I need to meet this man and I need to do a tasting, and like I'm gonna lay down the law. or something. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So I texted him, I was like, hey, Sean, can we please do a tasting? And this is where, okay, just keep with me, okay? So I was like, hey, Sean, can we do a tasting? And of course, it's Sean. He's like, yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want. Like, let's do it. I was like, awesome. And like, I'm expecting him to be kind of leading the conversation from there because it's a tasting. So like, you kind of direct me what I need to do or where do I need to go. And then whatever. So he's like, I'm like, okay, awesome. He's like, so where do you want to do it? And I'm thinking, what do you mean, where? What do you mean, where do I want to do it? Are you supposed to tell me that? I was like, what? I was like, and at this point, like, I'm kind of angry, like a little bit, not like towards him, but my feathers are ruffled. I'm like, I just need this man, because I was also like, we've been texting. Do I have a client folder? Is this being recorded anywhere? I don't remember what napkins I told you. I'm like, what is going on? And so I was like, look, you just tell us where to go and we'll be there. Like, tell us a time and a place and we'll be there. He was like, okay, awesome. My apartment complex has a beautiful, like, common area. We can do it there. And I was like, oh God. I'm like, oh my God, it's an apartment. Like, what? What? Like, shouldn't this be like a kitchen or something? Like, shouldn't you have a place? And I was like, I guess, like, he has a team, but also, for catering, you don't necessarily like have to have like a designated place. Like, I don't know where he cooks or where he preps all this stuff, but okay. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go along with it. So now I'm talking to my mom and Joseph. I'm like, we're walking into a disaster for sure. And then I was like, hey, can we also visit the rental place and go over the rentals this day? And he was like, yeah. So we were going to meet in like the afternoon. Yeah, like early afternoon with my mom and go over the rentals. And then that night we're gonna go for a tasting. So I was like, at this point, I'm freaking out. We've already given this man thousands of dollars. And I was like, oh shit, like I screwed up. Like I screwed up. I put my trust in somebody. Like this is going to go. Okay. We roll up to the rental place, which he partners with a rental company that is already like known in Charleston. So we pull up and there's this guy in flip-flops and khaki shorts and a little polo, sunglasses on. Like, if you're familiar with Charleston or the East Coast, it's your boater uncle. Okay? That guy. And so I was like, okay. And of course he comes out, he's like, hey, how's it going? Big old handshake, like so kind. And he's holding a like binder thing. So we walk in, showing us all the rentals, showing us everything that we picked, confirming the colors. He's like, yep. He's like, what do you think about this, this, and this? And then like we'll say something. He'll talk to the lady. He's like, okay, add this to my tab, add this to my tab, add this to my tab, whatever. I was like, hey, do you remember what we did this? He's flipping through his binder. He like has all this shit. I'm like, oh my God, this bitch has a binder. Like, oh my God, this is great. Like, you actually have something that's fantastic. So now we get done with the rentals and like me and my mom leave that and we're like, okay. Like that, I feel so much better because I realized like, now, could he probably have a little bit more of like a process, at least so as a customer, like I can see what we're doing, maybe a Google Doc, literally something, maybe. But I was like, oh no, this nice guy, Sean, really has his shit together. It's just behind the scenes. Like all I need to do is text him and he's got it, kind of thing. And from then on, like Sean's got it 100%. But anyway, so we leave the rental place. Me and mom are like, high five, like this is great. And then that night we go to this apartment complex. It was just me and Joseph when we did the tasting. And I was, it's an apartment complex. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. But we pull up and it's a beautiful common area. And it was so cute. So he had texted me. He's like, hey, my wife is going to be there tonight. She's a big part of this operation. So, like she should definitely be there. She's going to be helping out. And I'm like, you know what the fuck? Bring your cousin. Like, I don't care. Like what? I don't know what's happening. So sure, whatever. Bring the clown car. And then, so we get in, they have it set up so nicely. They have champagne glasses. They have a bottle of champagne. They have like the dishware like ready, and I've set up a table and everything. And he had cooked, I guess, in their like common area kitchen or something like that. Brings out the food in like multiple course meal. It was so sweet, and it was so like just well thought out, and they were so kind. Like the two of them, they're just adorable. And the food, guys, this is some of the best food I've ever had in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. This man can cook. Like, it was so good. We are having like some of the food that we're having like chicken and steak, like skewers. They're gonna be off the skewers, so they're not hard to eat. I think they're gonna be with like a chimichurri sauce, and there's rice with mojo sauce, and then there's also something called patatas bravas, which I'm sure I'm saying that poorly. But there's no way to say that in like with my accent in a way that sounds intelligent. Patatas bravas, whatever. It's fried potatoes. And I was like, that was the thing I was the least excited for. I was like, we're just gonna, you may have to have a side or whatever, like potatoes, it's fine. No, they ended up being my favorite part of the meal. Like, these are so good. He serves them with a garlic aioli. I'm exploding. I left there. I was like, oh, we made the right decision. Like this. And since then, I'm singing his praises. Like, I have a hat now with his logo on it. Like, literally, I love this man's. Sean has my back. Sean is my man. Like, he has got it. Him and his wife, they got it. I'm not worried about literally anything. But for a hot minute there, like, I thought I had to hire just like, I don't know, like somebody, and like we had no idea what was going on. I'm so excited for this food. I cannot even tell you. Next entry. Since I just babbled on. Anyway, so Buddy and I, fresh out of video production school, did videography for a wedding. He lost half the footage the night after, and he's socially awkward, so I got to deal with the pissed off bride and her mother. No, that's horrific. I would be pissed. Videography and photography are like some of the things that I find the most important, and especially the videography. Like, literally do video for a living and short form. Like, I'm planning, like, I've always loved videography. I grew up with YouTube, grew up with vlogging. I'm like, this is so important to me. I would scream. I would bawl crying. I would freak out. And I'm going to skip past that one real quick because that gives me the anxieties. Okay. Father of the groom danced himself into cardiac arrest. No. Ambulance came. B&G rode with him. Oh, bride and groom rode with him to the hospital, and I went home early. Huh? Well, I want to know who you were in this story, A. And oh my God, cardiac. No. This is like like you can't, you can't, there's no way you can plan against that kind of stuff. Goodness. Also, the username, buddy. Okay. Anyway, next one. Okay, so very serious religious wedding. The minister had made it clear he wouldn't stand for any shenanigans. One of the groomsmen had a pizza delivered during the ceremony. The pizza guy walked up the center aisle calling out the groomsman's name. The groomsman paid for the— oh, wait, I've seen this. I've definitely seen this before. Like, I've seen this story somewhere. The groomsman paid for the pizza and placed it on the ground next to him, all in complete silence. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. The minister just did this laser death stare at the pizza guy and then at the groomsman. After the pizza guy left, there was a long moment of more silence, and then the minister continued from where he left off. It was extremely awkward for everyone. I've seen this like on a Reddit or something. I would be pissed. Well, hold on. See, these are the type of things where, like, I feel like I'd be mad, but like you'd have to at some point just let it go. You also, this is what I mean by you gotta be careful on who you put in your bridal party. Like, you can't have liabilities. You know what I mean? And if you know that you've got somebody in your bridal party that is likely to order a pizza during the ceremony and have it delivered while, you may kiss the bride, I'd say red flag. Red flag. Maybe let's move to the next one. Okay. So this story, the groom during his speech was making an analogy about his love for his new wife being like a tree. He says something about being so excited he planted his seed in her, and the entire congregation burst out laughing. No, that's horrible. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. He says something about being so excited he planted his seed in her. That's disgusting. And poor guy, like, he's really trying to make like a beautiful like speech about like growth and being in like a tree, and then he says that's horrifying. Also, groom during a speech, is the groom are we supposed to make speeches? Because we definitely don't have that on the schedule. No, we've got first we've got, okay, so I've got a man of honor, I've got a maid of honor, and I've got a matron of honor. Don't at me. I don't want to hear it. Okay. I've got great friends. And then Joseph has two best men. Again, don't at me. Don't at us. We've got great friends. And we were like, oh my God, who are we going to have speak? And if like I had my way, I'd literally have, so that's like 3 honors and 2 best men, like all 5 speak, except I would be shot at my wedding. Like somebody would be like, shut, and like get them to stop talking. Like that just goes too long. It's too many speeches. You don't want that many speeches. And so we narrowed it down to just like my man of honor and then his best man, like the first best man that walks down the aisle. But yeah, we don't have speeches. Is there supposed to be? Am I supposed to say something? Is the groom supposed to say something? Because we don't have that. We do not have that. There have been so many times in this wedding planning experience where, like, you know, you expect, I think I've said this before, like, you expect people to have an opinion of your wedding. Like, oh, like, no, I think you should do this, or, oh, like, I have a better deal. Like, I didn't expect so many assumptions. Like, I'm trying to think, you know, who's your flower girl? Oh, we don't have that. Really? Oh, interesting. Like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm trying to think of some of the things, like it's assuming I'm gonna go down the aisle to like here comes the bride or whatever that is. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Like I am going down to a like alternative rock song, actually. So there's that. Like I don't know, like people just assume, like they'll ask questions and I'm like, we weren't even doing that. Like, I don't know. There's so many little things that I don't know. Some of it is helpful. Like when I talk to my like bridesmaids and everything, they like there's some things that I would forget. Like they're like, "Oh, how are you how are you exiting? Like what's your exit?" You know, people do. And I was like, LOL. LOL. Laugh out loud. I have not thought of that. And I literally looked over to my friend who had gotten married in March. And I was like, hey, Em, how did you guys do your exit? And she was like, that was the sparklers. I was like, neat. You got extra sparklers? She was like, yeah. And I looked over to the other friend that asked, I was like, sparklers. So now we have sparklers. I literally dropped, like, picked them up from our house. We ordered a couple more. We're going to do sparklers because, like, what the fuck ever, you know? Like, there's certain things that I just, like, I care about some things. I care about some things. And there's certain things I just can't. You know, I just can't. If I were to worry about every detail of this wedding, I would go into cardiac arrest. There's no way I would make it. Not a clue, not a chance, like not at all. And the theme has just been like, I just don't have room in my brain. And I just want to enjoy it. Like, you know, whatever happens that day is going to happen. And like, high five, we're going to like get through it. Whatever. I'll get married one way or another. I will make sure I'm dancing. I don't care if it's, I'm not even going to put that out in the air. Like, yes, if it's to like a speaker, you know, from somebody's phone, I will be dancing, but I'm hoping like things don't go downhill that bad. You know what I mean? But like whatever happens, the day happens. Like I literally once that day, like once I wake up that morning, there's nothing I can do. Nothing. Like, you know, and there's also people that I have, like we have a coordinator. I've got Sean, you know, they can handle it. Whatever it is, they can handle it. I'm just there, you know. But I am very excited. I will say, for being so relaxed, I am also like, I'm very excited to see how it looks because I do think this is going to be a beautiful wedding. Like I'm in my head, I'm picturing this. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. Like I am thinking this is gonna be the event of the century, of course, because it's my wedding and that's how I feel. But like for the guests, you know, I love to host parties, and this is like the biggest party that I'll ever get to host. So I'm like, I'm excited for them, and like they get to see everything that we've done and the decor and the music and like whatever. I think it's gonna be so fun. Anyway, that was the last story. I feel actually pretty good. I'm choosing not to think about which one gave me anxiety. Now I'm gonna go back and like think about it. The videography. Oh yeah. Nope, not gonna think about that. I already made myself forget and I'm forgetting again. I'm not gonna think about that. I'm not gonna think about that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy that. Oh my gosh, these submission episodes are so fun. Like, I have the most fun with these. If you enjoy them, please let us know. As always, if you enjoy this podcast, please share it on your stories, your Instagram stories, or wherever you want to share it. Send it to a friend. The more the show grows, the more that we get to do for you guys, and so we're all in this together. I'm not gonna start singing. Anyway. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. We will have one more wedding episode before the actual wedding that will be going out on the 19th. And then we get married on the 24th. So pay attention to my personal socials if you want to stay on top of the wedding festivities. I do have a content girl that will be with me the entire day, who's in charge of my Instagram stories and my TikTok. Some of you might be like, what the hell? Others will be like, yes, content. I'll be like, yes, you're my people. Like, you understand. I have my videographer, my photographer, and then my content girl. Cause I want stuff on my phone. I want to be able to look back the night after on videos and like photos and post stuff. And also like, especially my TikTok, like you guys are important to me. So I want to share like as much as I can. But anyways, okay. You guys have a fabulous, fabulous week. Wherever you are, I love you so much, and I will talk to you guys next time.